109 Most popular Albert Einstein quotes. Fourth in the world. Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Logic will get you from A to Z, imagination will get you everywhere. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. Never memorize something that you can look up. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. Try not to become a man of success. Rather become a man of value. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. Once you can accept the universe as matter expanding into nothing that is something, wearing stripes with plaid comes easy. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. You never fail until you stop trying. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. It is not that I'm so smart, but I stay with the questions much longer. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. Creativity is intelligence having fun. If A is a success in life, then A equals X plus Y plus Z. Work is X, Y is play, and Z is keeping your mouth shut. Black holes are where God divided by zero. Everything must be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. The best way to cheer yourself is to cheer somebody else up. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. When you trip over love, it is easy to get up. But when you fall in love, it is impossible to stand again. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? The pursuit of truth and beauty is a sphere of activity in which we are permitted to remain children all our lives. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. The woman who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The woman who walks alone is likely to find herself in places no one has ever been before. We dance for laughter, we dance for tears, we dance for madness, we dance for fears, we dance for hopes, we dance for screams. We are the dancers, we create the dreams. Time is an illusion. I must be willing to give up what I am in order to become what I will be. Blind belief in authority is the greatest enemy of truth. Love is a better master than duty. I never made one of my discoveries through the process of rational thinking. We all know that light travels faster than sound. That's why certain people appear bright until you hear them speak. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. Genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. Nothing happens until something moves. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. I'd rather be an optimist and a fool than a pessimist and right. Out of clutter, find simplicity. Our task must be to free ourselves, by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. Wisdom is not a product of schooling but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. Imagination is the highest form of research. However rare true love may be, it is less so than true friendship. God does not play dice with the universe. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is at all comprehensible. The only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. Only those who attempt the absurd can achieve the impossible. You can never solve a problem on the level on which it was created. I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. What a sad arrow when it is easier to smash an atom than a prejudice. Reading, after a certain age, diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. Student, Dr. Einstein, aren't these the same questions as last year's physics final exam? Dr. Einstein, yes, but this year the answers are different. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are incapable of forming such opinions. A true genius admits that he or she knows nothing. If I had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about solutions. Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater. The hardest thing in the world to understand is the income tax. If there is any religion that could respond to the needs of modern science, it would be Buddhism. If people are good only because they fear punishment, and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. You cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. My religion consists of a humble admiration of the illimitable superior spirit who reveals himself in the slight details we are able to perceive with our frail and feeble mind. If at first the idea is not absurd, then there is no hope for it. I believe in intuitions and inspirations. I sometimes feel that I am right. I do not know that I am. The revolution introduced me to art, and in turn, art introduced me to the revolution. Life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is to live as if there were none. When I examine myself and my methods of thought, I come to the conclusion that the gift of fantasy has meant more to me than any talent for abstract, positive thinking. The only real valuable thing is intuition. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. It is my view that the vegetarian manner of living, by its purely physical effect on the human temperament, would most beneficially influence the lot of mankind. Laws alone cannot secure freedom of expression. In order that every man present his views without penalty, there must be spirit of tolerance in the entire population. The tragedy of life is what dies inside a man while he lives. When the solution is simple, God is answering. A person starts to live when he can live outside himself. I want to know God's thoughts, the rest are mere details. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. One thing I have learned in a long life, that all our science, measured against reality, is primitive and childlike. And yet it is the most precious thing we have. Information is not knowledge. If I were to remain silent, I'd be guilty of complicity. The ideals which have always shone before me and filled me with joy are goodness, beauty, and truth. We know from daily life that we exist for other people first of all, for whose smiles and well-being our own happiness depends. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be changed from one form to another.